Welcome, everyone. Before we begin our session, let's take a moment to find a place where you feel comfortable and let your body gently arrive and let your breath be soft, welcoming you into this moment. And allow your eyes to close or just simply rest your gaze and feel the ground beneath you holding you. You do not need to hold everything right now. And with every next breath, imagine yourself loosening the grip of the roles, the fixer, the helper, the one who has to say yes. For now, there is nowhere to go, nothing to manage. You just be. Bring your attention inwards, gently, as if you're visiting a quiet room inside of you. There's no one watching, and you don't have to be agreeable, nice, or needed. Notice if there is a part of you that's always alert, watching how others feel, adjusting yourself to be acceptable without pushing it away. Just acknowledge its presence. You might even say inwardly something like, I see you. You have worked so hard to keep me safe. And now invite another possibility. What would it feel like, just for a moment, to not to earn love, but to rest in your worth, to not to be needed, but simply known? And if it feels grounding, place a hand on your chest or belly and feel the rhythm of your breath beneath it. A quiet rhythm that belongs only to you. And let this breath remind you you have a voice, you have needs, you are allowed to take up space. And let this be your starting place. Now take one more full steady breath in and gently begin to start to be in the room around you, carrying the seed of truth. You do not need to abandon yourself to be loved. Now let's get into session today. Welcome for the session beyond people pleasing, finding your voice and setting up boundaries. Have you ever said yes to someone while every part of you screamed to say no? That's where we begin. We'll explore why this conversation matters, uncover the protective roots of people pleasing, look at the emotional cost, and open space for a new way forward. This foundation will lead us into a guided inner process, followed by sound healing, and we'll close with a time for reflection and questions. Now take a breath and simply arrive, present, curious, and open to what this space may hold for you. Now, why this conversation matters. Many of us learn to survive by becoming what others need us to be. Early in life, when connection felt unsafe or conditional, some part of us adapted by saying yes, even when they meant to say no. By keeping the peace and avoiding conflict or staying invisible. That wasn't weakness, it was wisdom in a painful environment. Take an example, a child who saw a parent erupt in anger when boundaries were set may now years later, freeze when trying to speak up at work or in a relationship. The drive to please others often comes at a cost of your own truth. You may feel respected, even liked, but may seem like I'm unseen. And over time, this creates a deep connection with your own needs, values, and voice. You're functioning, but not fully living. Example, you say yes to gathering you dread, and then you spend the whole evening resentful and exhausted about why I came here. Which means a part of you believes rejection would hurt more than the discomfort of pretending. Now, these patterns are not who you are. They're parts of you trying to protect you. The people pleasing inside often believes that being authentic is dangerous. It's too bad because it's not bad or it's not broken, but it's just burdened and it's likely tired. For example, you may notice a familiar panic arise when someone asks you what you want. That's not resistance. It's actually a part of you trying to keep you safe from disapproval in case what you are wanting may not come. So reclaiming your voice isn't about becoming aggressive. It's about becoming whole. We are not here to fight these parts. We are here to understand them, appreciate their efforts, appreciate their intentions, appreciate their fears, and begin to shift towards a way of being that honors both self and the others. So this conversation matters because it gives us a chance to move from survival into self-expression, from appeasement into alignment, and from fear into self-worth. Let's take a moment to understand something really important. People pleasing isn't a flaw, is not who you are. It's a role, a part you had learned, but you learned that helped you survive. And for many of us, this part came online very early in life. It figured out that if we were to be around, to be agreeable, to be helpful, then maybe things would feel a little bit more stable, less tense, maybe even safe. I actually worked with someone who used to feel physically anxious just thinking about telling her partner she didn't want to go to a social event. And she would say yes every time, even though it drained her to be there. And underneath, the story was that underneath there was a part of her carrying a fear. If I disappoint them, they will be hurt. And if they are hurt, maybe they will leave me. So that wasn't about that event that she didn't want to go. It was about feeling safe, about feeling belonging. Now, people pleasing often shows up like that. It's not about being nice. It's about being needed, or at least not being rejected. I give you my example. I would always volunteer to take my colleagues on weekends visits at the expense of my family time when I was in Switzerland. And my colleagues would come from India, and I would do that always. Even when I was exhausted or when my family needed me from something, I would give priority to my colleagues. And there was a part of me that believed that if I don't say yes to take them out, they will think that I'm selfish, or worse, they stop valuing me and respecting me. I felt that it was my duty. And this part of me that would take over would say yes, smile, reassured, accommodated. Even my when my body and my family was screaming no. This is what I want you to hear clearly, that the part of you that overfunctions, over apologizes, or freezes in the face of a boundary is not weak, it's just loyal. It has protected you, and now it's tired. And it is tired of being on high alert, tired of watching everybody's emotions to keep things smooth, tired of carrying the belief that your worth is tied up to how much you give up. So today I invite you to gently notice, where is this part still active in your life? Where do you find yourself abandoning your truth to preserve connections? Not to fix it, not to shame it, but to recognize it. And then to begin to build a relationship with it that's based not on fear, but in care, in compassion. Because the voice you have been quietening all these years, it is still there. And it's worth hearing it from a place of compassion. Now, let's talk about something many of us know all too well. What happens when we stay silent? Not just once, but over and over and over again. When our voice is constantly muted, even in subtle ways, we begin to disconnect from ourselves. We lose clarity on what we truly want, need, or feel. And at first, it might seem like we are just keeping the peace, but over time, that silence begins to cost us emotionally, physically, and rationally, and into our relationships. I once worked with a man who hadn't disagreed openly with his partner in years. Every time conflict would rise, he would retreat. He thought that he was actually protecting the relationship by not disagreeing. But over time, that unspoken tension turned into a pain. He would not be able to sleep, and eventually a sense of emptiness. And he was not in a relationship anymore. He was being performing. Another client who was a go-to person for her family. She never asked for help, always showed up. But she confided during our session that she often felt invisible, like the only way she was able to be valued was when she was giving. And there was this deep sadness under the surface, a silent grief for the parts of her that never got to speak. And she was unable to create future plans for her own life. This is classically what happens when you get stuck. Here's the paradox: the part of that stays quiet, swallows the truth, avoids the ripple, is doing it out of loyalty. It learned that speaking up might lead to conflict, rejection, or even shame. And it wants to protect the connection. But the strategy that once kept you safe is now the very thing that keeps you feeling unseen. And you may feel it inside. One part of you eager to keep things smooth, agreeable, another part, quiet but persistent, that's frustrated, tired, and maybe even angry. Neither is wrong. Each one is carrying something important. And that tension inside, that's not failure. That's a sign you're being given an opportunity to grow. Because true connection within and around you starts when we create space for all the voices that have been muted to speak up. So, as we continue today, I invite you to listen inwards with compassion, not to force a change, but to recognize the voice in you that's waiting to be heard. So now ex- let's see. We have actually explored why this conversation matters, how people pleasing first came to protect us. But what is the cost that we pay for that? So let's talk about opportunities that's available here right now. What if this part of you that has been working so hard to keep you liked, needed, safe, didn't have to carry all that responsibility alone anymore? There's a different way of being that doesn't require rejection or rebellion, just the truth. Setting boundaries is not pushing people away. It's about making yourself visible from a place of compassion for you. It's like saying that this is what matters to me. This is what feels right, or this is what is wrong. And when done with care, it becomes a powerful invitation for mutual respect, not just survival. I remember working with a client who always said yes to our family, holidays, night calls, financial support, and she was burning out, quietly resenting everyone while smiling on one side. While going through our sessions, one day she came up with this on her own, and she said something like, I don't want to keep showing up resentful. I want to show up as real me. And that shift changed everything over time. Not because her family changed, but because she stopped betraying herself. And here's the hard truth: when we abandon ourselves to avoid abandonment by others, we lose both ourselves and others. And the moment we begin to speak, not perform, not pleasing someone, but truly speak for ourselves, we start to come home to ourselves. And here's my deep invitation today. Instead of forcing change, let's get curious. There may be still part of you that believes if I stay how I really feel, it'll be too much. I'll be rejected. I won't be loved. That part isn't wrong. It's remembering something real. But you are no longer a child. You are here now, adult, with the choices. So as we begin the next part of our time together, I invite you to gently ask yourself, what I've been afraid will happen if I speak up truly? And what part of me still believes I need to earn love by being agreeable? Let's meet these parts, not with blame, but with curiosity and compassion. They have been protecting something precious, you. So let's take a moment to go through these two questions that will give you an insight onto where you would like to work today. So two questions is, in what areas of my life, your life, do I prioritize other needs or approval even when it leaves me feeling drained, resentful, or unseen? Are there moments when I hold back my truth, stay silent, or avoid conflict out of fear of rejection, or fear of being misunderstood, or fear of causing discomfort? So take a moment to think what comes up for you, and then we'll move forward. Take a moment to find a comfortable position. Allow your body to begin settling into stillness. And if it feels safe, gently close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath in and exhale softly and fully. And with every breath, invite your system to soften. No need to change anything. Just let this breath be quiet invitation in words. Now picture a space, a person, real or imagined, that feels safe, grounded, and warm. It might be a quiet forest, a favorite corner, a place in nature, or a person that makes you feel calm within. And let this be your inner sanctuary, a place where all parts of you are welcome just as they are. And from this space, begin to notice and invite any part of you that has often put others first, said yes when your body wanted to say no, the part of you that you thought about and invited in the inquiry before. Whatever comes up, invite it in. Yeah, just ask, gently ask, is there a part of me that feels responsible for keeping things okay? That says yes, even when my body wants to say no. So see if you can invite this part to come up and say that you are curious to know more about it without any judgment. And if something stirs up, an image, a sensation, or emotion that arises, just notice, pay attention to that. Notice where you feel it in your body. And notice, how does it feel to be with this part right now? What emotions comes up? The emotion you feel is the emotion of this part that you feel in your body. Or you may be seeing an image. So see if you can become curious about this part of you, that you feel it in your body or you see as an image. Know that the emotion you felt is the emotion for that part of you. So you become curious and you ask a question. I'm curious to know, you're asking question to this part of you, that you feel it in your body or the image you saw. The question you ask is, I'm curious to know, what is your real intention for me? What do you want for me? Then follow it up by acknowledging it, saying, okay, I understand this is what you want for me, this is your intention for me. But tell me, what are you afraid would happen to me if you didn't do what you're doing? What are your fears? You might have heard a quiet voice sharing these fears. See if you can acknowledge that and ask a question. What is your biggest fear for me? What is that big fear that you carry for me? What is the worst that can happen to me if I speak up for myself, if I set boundaries? If you can acknowledge what you heard and feel compassion for this part, for the fear it has been holding, for what it's trying to protect you from. And ask it, this role that you play for me, do you like playing this role or you have to do it? And now see if you can gently ask, how long have you been playing this role for me? How old was I when you took on this role, and what was going on in my life? And stay compassionate, stay curious. You might sense a younger version of yourself learning that approval means safety, and that being good meant being quiet, or anything else that comes up. See the younger one. Be with them. And let this part and the younger one know you don't have to choose between being loud and being yourself. And allow space for this connection. And now ask this part, what have you been trying to protect me from? What would help you to feel safe enough not to have to overwork anymore? And if it feels right, offer it. I'm not here to push you away. I just want you to rest. You don't have to keep carrying this alone. So offer what would help you to feel safe enough not to overwork anymore. See what comes up. And if the part feels ready, you might imagine it softening, stepping back, handing over its burden, or resting in your presence. And if it's not ready, that's just okay. You can say, I'll keep coming back. I want to understand you, not to change you. And now offer a quiet message of reassurance. Let it know that it doesn't have to earn its place here. Let it know, I see you, your care. I see your fears. I see your strengths. You can still belong even when you speak your truth. And now ask it if you were to name yourself any name so that when I come back, I can spend more time with you in the following days. What name would you give to this part? Any name. Let that settle. Promise to follow up in coming days. Breathe into it and let it rest where it needs most. And now take a moment to share with your inner system your vision of life. What do you want for yourself? Now gently begin to return. Notice your breath, the air around you, and take a moment to thank any parts that showed up. And you might say, I heard you. I am with you. We are allowed to speak. We are allowed to rest. We are allowed to be. And when you feel ready, softly open your eyes. Let the right return at your own pace. And we'll transition into tuning fork. The second thing, the way it works is we basically get into what is called your energy field by a field. The field goes something like 6 feet on both sides, at least from a biofield tuning point of view. And the way to activate is that you start by opening the centers, top of the head, below the feet, so that the backbone and back channel is activated using tuning fork. And then we go into the field. We run a pendulum based on what you are wishing to resolve as a group, and then run a pendulum which tells which center to be worked on. I will tell you which one to work on. And then we go at the edge, which is the time of your conception, whatever. So let's say it's your throat or your heart or your root chakra. We'll go to the edge and then start to come in from the edge to the center. And as we traverse that time, it starts from the time of your inception, birth, then early childhood, and so on and so forth. Every time there is something to be cleared, I will tell you, tuning forks tells, this is what is going on there. I'll tell you the age. Sometime it even talks about what emotion comes up. And so if that makes sense to you in your life or whatever came up for you, just go into that place and breathe a certain way. I will tell you, and I also use tuning fork to help you work through that. So that's how it works. So the breathing is you take your breath through your nose and then you breathe out from your mouth. Okay, so breath in. This is only when we find issue, or when you will hear me say take a breath. And sometime if it is too heavy, too strong, and I will feel it, then I will also ask you to do something like ha, and it will help you to release. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to switch off my video, but you will keep hearing me. It's a little bit more noisy because I have to open up for the tuning fork, otherwise you can't hear it. So bear with that. Thank you. Okay, so we'll start at the bottom of your feet using 144 hertz. Okay, bottom of your feet, 144 hertz. So I'm opening the channel from below the feet to the top of your head. So I'm pointing the tuning fork towards your backbone, below your feet. Take a breath. Take another breath. It's not. It's getting blocked at the second center. navel. Okay, that helps. Goes to the top of the head. Okay, take a breath. I'm going to ground you, connect you to Mother Earth. Okay, we go to the top of the head to open the center. So now I'm pointing from top of the head down to the, pointing towards your head, through the backbone to Mother Earth, opening the channel from the top. Okay, take a breath. We are also opening the connection to Divine. Okay, so we have activated the two centers. Now you don't see anything or hear anything. I'm running a pendulum from below the feet to know which energy center or chakra do we work today. So I'm at your root, saying no. Sacral, the second center, no. Solar plexus says no. Heart chakra says no. I'm not surprised. Throat, it wants to work. Yeah, it's always the same. Okay. Okay, wants us to work on the throat chakra, throat center, shoulders, and basically on the left side, which is saying all these, I mean, talk about suppressing your voice. It says all the emotions that have never been expressed or have been suppressed, that is also about your creativity and also about your truth. So that's what we'll work with. Okay, so we start at the edge, and I'm also going to change the tuning fork to work with 174 hertz. So a little bit more softer. It's very good at finding the blockages. Okay, so I'm at the point of your conception. Yeah, there's almost a war going on between the heart and the head. Both are in conflict. Yeah, what he's saying is that one represents the father, the other one represents the mother. And the father, both of them wanted to be seen in their own lives. And that conflict is taken by you. Whatever that means. Take a breath. If it means something, your creation was in the parents who both wanted to be seen and even heard. And that's their fight. That's their conflict, but you are in the middle of it. If that makes sense. Who needs more comfort is the heart. So the mother. Stay with that. Take a breath. Okay, so it's easing a bit now. Okay, so I can go forward. So now moving from the time of your conception forward. Pregnancy. Okay, midway, so 4.5 months into pregnancy, a lot of fear. The second is a frustration, disappointment. Now this is not yours, so this is something that could be seen by the mother or in the family, but you have picked it up. You may have picked it up. And it brings heaviness into the heart. Acknowledge that. If it makes sense. I'm still there. 4.5 months in pregnancy. Okay, bring another tuning fork. It's not going away. So it seems something big. You don't hear it. It's 144 hertz. Okay, we move forward. So I'm at birth. Send love to the newborn, the little one, to the mother, to everybody surrounding him or her. Just love, acceptance, to be here. Welcome. more love. Okay, so the little one wants to hear the truth. Whatever it means to you for telling her or him your truth, just express it. Everything that you have not expressed. Whatever that means. So the little one wants to hear from you what you have never said to nobody. All the unexpressed emotions. Just share. Welcome her or him. Okay, we move forward. It's in your present moment now. So just now. Whatever that you hold about your identity, asking it to be freed up. Any inhibitions, anything that is holding you to speak up for you. So I'm now on top of your throat. Whatever has come up, we are going to release it out. Take a breath. Okay, so we are going to start to close. Let the system process over the next 72 hours. And protect you with a cocoon of 428 hertz, 528 hertz. Just gently breathe in and breathe out. Feel this sound around your heart. Feel the soft presence of your own being, intact, whole, and present. And let the parts of you that spoke up today and those that stayed quiet all be held with the same care. And silently offer this to yourself. It's safe to rest. I don't have to prove anything right now. What is shifting in me knows its own timing. And if it feels right, place a hand on your heart or belly and let this final truth settle in. I'm learning to trust my voice. I honor the parts of me that have protected me. And I move forward, not perfectly, but with care. Breathe that in, let it land where it needs. And when you feel ready, start to be here.